Week 0 gave us big moments and a Sports Center top play. Will Week 1 match the excitement? This is This Week in Big Sky Football. Hello and welcome to This Week in Big Sky Football. I'm your host, Megan Robinson. 8 more Big Sky schools make their season debuts on Saturday, including 15th ranked Sacramento State, led by first-year head coach Brennan Marion. The Hornets head to Brookings, South Dakota this weekend to take on number 3 South Dakota State in a top 25 matchup and our game of the week. With that, I'd like to welcome in Coach Marion to the show. Coach Marion, you've been waiting for this week since December, your official beginning as head coach of Sacramento State's season debut. How do you think the dream of running out onto the field with your team will compare to the reality that you'll face on Saturday?
Yeah, it'll be a surreal moment for sure. I mean, I've dreamed about it since I was a little kid to be able to lead a group of men. You know, when it was a kid, it was the pickup game of all the kids in my neighborhood. And now the opportunity to do it at the college level. I've done it at high school, but it's obviously not the same. And so I'm really excited to just, take a deep breath, take it all in and run out and get ready to go with the guys.
You made an interesting comment at Media Day. You said you were a horrible assistant coach. You were always meant to be a leader. However, you'd argue that your tenure as an assistant coach got you to this point. How did your time as an assistant prepare you to take over the Hornets?
Yeah, I just feel like no matter if it was a GA, a janitor, the head coach that I worked for, I made sure I took notes on how to treat people the right way, on how to run a program, just be in that role, to sit in that chair. I think the unique experience I had from being a high school head coach first and then getting into college as an assistant helped me really understand that the head coach role is different. What I try to do is just take everything from those programs that I liked, and thankfully, I was blessed to work at some really great universities with some really great coaches and learn from guys that had won national championships, Super Bowls, and just take the information from them and make sure when I got the opportunity to run my own program that I extracted the right information to make our program successful.
Last time we spoke, you were not in fall camp yet, but you said your goal was to have your players go from friends to cousins to brothers. Where do they stand now as we enter week 1 of the season?
Yeah, I'd say we're close to being brothers. I'd say it's, a brother is born in adversity, just like it talks about in Proverbs. So we have to have some in-season adversity first to really come together. Anytime you have this many new guys, they're really close-knit group right now. They're really tight. I'm really actually surprised about how close our guys are. But, we need to see some things, get a bad call, some things not go our way, be our backs against the wall, have to win a 2-minute drill, be in a tight 4-minute situation to really see, does our culture really stand the test of adversity? And I think once we can, get through that hurdle, then we'll definitely be brothers. I always say adversity causes some men to break and others to break records. So hopefully when those adverse moments show up, we've done our job as coaches to create an environment where our guys stay locked arm in arm to run towards the storm.
Your defense had a strong showing in both fall camp scrimmages. What are the Hornets' strengths on the defensive side of the ball?
Yeah, I just think we're really explosive in the trenches. We call it 3 sets of 5. We can rotate 3 sets of 5. And, like our third set of 5 guys are like guys that started places and made significant plays and impact. So I think that's really our strength of our team right now. And then the guys on the back end are playing really good and pattern matching and making sure they're in the right spots, playing sticky coverage and not just giving up completions. So Coach Walls and Coach Kenyon have done a good job with the guys in the back end. And then our second level guys, our linebackers are triggering downhill, getting physical, being violent with Coach Brown, leading that BWA group in the linebacker room.
Offensively, of course, it's been all go Sacramento. I asked Aiden Meek, one of your O linemen, about that at Media Day, and he said he's in the best shape of his life after running that high tempo offense. How has your offense taken to the go style of play these last few weeks as we approach week 1?
It's great to see the combination of talent that we have, not rely on their talent and depend on their work ethic and their preparation. Those guys have done a good job of not just thinking like, okay, we're talented, we'll show up in the game. They've really worked every day at it at practice. They've been after practice every day, before practice, trying to make sure their timing, spacing, and execution right. So much about offensive football is not emotion, it's execution. And so we're just trying to make sure that these guys understand that we have to be in the right spot at the right time to make the right play. And so our guys have done a good job of really just coming together and working on the details of what makes a play actually go.
Season starts Saturday when you head to Brookings, South Dakota, take on a perennial favorite, third-ranked South Dakota State in our game of the week. What kind of identity check can this matchup give you?
Yeah, it's really up to our guys to have the responsibility of playing to the standard, not clock watching. We call it the casino rule of just being locked in and just playing as hard as they can every snap. Want to know. Obviously, we're playing a great program with a great head coach. Got a chance to play against him before in the past. He's going to have his guys ready to go. Our guys need to just worry about the things that they can control and, get after each and every play.
Coming up, hear from the Big Sky Offensive Player of the Week. Welcome back to This Week in Big Sky Football. I'm your host, Megan Robinson. Idaho State's Dason Brooks had 18 carries for 132 yards and 2 touchdowns in his 2025 season debut, earning himself Offensive Player of the Week honors for the first time in his career. Dason joins me now. Dason, 132 yards, 2 touchdowns in your 2025 season debut last Saturday. What allowed you to have so much success on the ground?
I think our O-line they did a great job opening up the gaps for me, allowing me to get to the second level and then work my own little breed of magic and try to get just enough yards to help out the team and do help myself out too.
Dason, before this season, Coach Hawkins said that he expects you to be an all-conference player because of your O-line. You just mentioned that they contributed to your success last weekend in week 0. What do you want to say to those guys blocking for you?
I love my big dogs. I love them so much. They're such great people. I love talking with them. They know what they're doing. They help me be better and I try to help them be better.
Your performance in week 0 earned you Offensive Player of the Week honors for the Big Sky, the first weekly honor of your career. How do you build on that going forward this season?
I feel like it's a great honor. Very happy to have it. I'm just gonna kind of put in the back of my mind, the think of it like it's a 0-0 score and no one got any points. I'm just trying to go into the next week. I'd love to get one when all the teams are playing because that's when the real competition starts. That's when you really prove it. But I'm very happy to have this first one.
Idaho State, of course, is known more for their passing game, the throw-in Idahoans. Jordan Cook was slinging it downfield in that week 0 matchup. How does the threat of the deep ball open things up for you guys on the ground as well?
I think it really helps and makes the defense open up the box. They got to drop their defenders. They got to move those safeties around. And while they're looking at the receivers, gives me a chance to at least get 10 yards up the field before they have to double back and try to tackle me. So gives me a lot better chance.
You're a running back. However, your career as a Bengal started as a linebacker. What led to the position switch?
I think I mostly dedicate that to Jeff Pittman. He's our strength coach, and I believe he's the one who kind of spearheaded it. He felt like I was enough of an athlete to try something out new, help the team out in a different way, and I feel like it worked out pretty well.
How did your time as a linebacker help you in that transition and help you excel as a running back now?
Helped me understand the defenses a lot better, so I don't have to think as much. I can be a lot more instinctual when I'm reading, like, okay, these linebackers are a 3-3 stack. Who's gonna help who? Whose gap is which? And helps me be a lot more instinctual on my runs.
The Bengals take on Southern Utah this week. What's been the focus at practice heading into this matchup?
We know they're gonna. We know they're coming with the vendetta. They came off, I think, with a 3-win streak last season, so they coming in with some heat, with some belief in their game. We know they have some good players. I know their defensive edge is good. I know their backfield. I know they're confident, and we just got to make sure we do our job.
You opened your season week 0. This is the opening game for Southern Utah. How does already having a game under your belt help you guys entering week one?
Helps us break off a little bit of the rust. Helps us kind of flesh out some of the schemes and packages we kind of just threw in to see if they'd work, and helps us know our personnel a little bit more, who can do what, who can do this, who needs some work there, and then feel like it helps us be a more complete team.
How does Rex Connors hope he's remembered by UC Davis? Find out after this. At the end of the 2024 season, Rex Connors had a decision to make: take hundreds of thousands of dollars in NIL money to play for a larger university, or stay at UC Davis and finish what he started. No one, including head coach Tim Plough, would have blamed him for taking the money. Instead, Connors chose to stay. After all, you can't put a price on your legacy.
I mean, I had a lot of conversations with Coach Plough. A big thing that he brought up for me that really resonated with me is legacy. He's like, you can really build your legacy at Davis. I mean, you'll be remembered, and that just resonated with me. Like, I want to build something, and I want it to last.
Rex Connors has been building his legacy since he arrived at UC Davis in 2021. He entered his senior season a 3-time All-Conference selection, an All-American, and the Big Sky preseason defensive MVP.
Yeah, Rex is an extremely hardworking guy, really cares about his teammates every single year. Because he loves football, he has improved areas of his game even while playing really well.
I'd say that's just a mixture of a lot of things, work ethic, I put a lot of work into what I do and how I compete.
I don't think he's ever satisfied with where he's at. He's always looking to get better. He's gotten himself to a place where he deserves all the recognition that he's getting, for sure.
We got a great group of guys, and we all work together, and I couldn't do it without them. And then going back to the coaching staff, like, we got great defensive coaches. Coach Coombs, great defensive mind. He's got the scheme dialed up. And then my safeties coach, Coach Hicks, he's helped me develop a lot throughout my career.
Someone else who's helped Connors develop throughout his career, his twin brother Porter.
He's probably the one person in the world that I hate losing to the most. Just because, like, we've always grown up, like, competing, doing different things, like, oh, you do this, watch, I'm gonna do it better, that type of thing.
Extremely competitive. They hold each other to a high standard. If they don't do something well in practice, you'll see them both after practice working on it with each other to get better at it.
He's also good just, like, helping me focus on my goals, stay focused. Like, days I really don't feel like going to the gym, getting some work in. Like, he'll be like, we're going to the gym today? And I'll be like, oh, yeah, you're right, let's go.
What's the best part about getting to play with your brother?
Just like little moments, like, we'll have a play and we'll see something, and he'll like look back at me and be like, what do I have on this play? And I'll be like telling him, like, just like little moments like that, and then just like seeing each other succeed and being able to celebrate that on the field, like, it's just so exciting. You get a lot of adrenaline, like, it's just a lot of fun.
Pass it is intercepted. Rex Connors coming the other way. Turns it inside to the 10, to the 5. He's in. Touchdown, UC Davis.
What are your goals for this season?
Well, I got the preseason, so I want to end with the postseason Defensive Player of the Year. I want to be a All-American, and then I want Buck Buchanan winner, and then Big Sky and National Championship.
Regardless of how this year goes, Connors will always be one of the best to wear an Aggie uniform. However, returning for this season might have cemented his place as an Aggie legend.
I think his legacy, and we talked about that when he was thinking about what he wanted to do, same with Lane. It's like, you're going to be known as a great player here, but if you stay, you'll probably have your numbers up in the rafters one day, and how important is that to you? And I think him coming back says how important that is to him.
It's been everything. I mean, I came in as a little kid, and now I, got to mature and learn a whole lot about football, build relationships that will be lifelong, and you really just got to meet your best friends for life, and it's just a special feeling.
Coming up, Craig Haley of Stats Performing the Analyst joins me for Game Picks. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to This Week in Big Sky Football. I'm Megan Robinson, joined now by one of our friends from Stats Performing the Analyst, Craig Haley. Craig, great slate of college football this weekend, including our game of the week, Sacramento State heading to third-ranked South Dakota State in a top 25 FCS matchup. I'll have you pick this game at the end, but first, what impact can the outcome of this matchup have on the playoff picture come November, December?
It's huge, Megan. I mean, you think about it. I mean, Sacramento State with all the transfers, it should be a quick turnaround from last year. They're looking to have a banner season and to make that jump into a seeded kind of team. And this is how you do it. I mean, you're going to be facing tough teams every week in the Big Sky, but to beat a South Dakota State, a two-time champion in 22 and 23 seasons, I mean, that's like an FBS win to win a game like this on the road. So I think it is huge for both teams to get this win.
What will be the keys to a Sacramento State victory in this game?
I like that Sac State has, a deep running back stable, because the way the Jackrabbits, South Dakota State has, built up their program is on the two lines, offense and defensive line. So the fact that Sac State can really, pound the run with the transfer running backs that they have, I just think that's the key here.
Again, I'll get to your game pick on this at the end of the show, saving it our game of the week. We'll start with Eastern Washington. They're heading to San Antonio this weekend to face Incarnate Word. Incarnate Word coming off that upset loss to Nicholls week 0. Can the Eagles make it back-to-back upset losses for Incarnate Word?
This game feels so different than a week ago because, UIW Incarnate Word really had a lousy start by losing to Nicholls, not even scoring a touchdown. I think Eastern Washington, the closer we get to the season, I feel a little bit better about the Eagles. I mean, Jared Taylor is going to be a dual threat. He has some weapons and, Dotson and Ulm. I feel like their defense will be improved for what they have back. So it feels like a different game than a week ago. We know that it's going to be all, a track meet, but I think the Eagles really should feel a lot better going into this one.
Our second game of the week for picks, Idaho State. They put up 555 yards of offense last week against FBS opponent UNLV. They take on future Big Sky member Southern Utah on Saturday. Can Idaho State get it done?
Of course. I mean, they did beat the Thunderbirds last year. I mean, Cody Hawkins had some nice wins. His team had some nice wins last year. Certainly you have a chance here because Southern Utah was, Tarji Lamson, they relied on so much last year, the FCS leader in rushing per game. So I give Idaho State a chance for sure.
UC Davis played week 0. However, it was declared a no contest after storms rolled in the fourth quarter. So they officially begin their season this week at Utah Tech, another Big Sky member starting in 2026. Who are you taking in the Utah Tech UC Davis?
I think you have to like UC Davis. You could point to Caden Pinnock really looking strong in his first start at quarterback. He utilized his weapons. He ran the ball. We know about the Connors brothers. I mean, Rex is, off to just a fabulous start in that game. So I do think it should be a win here. Utah Tech gave up, a lot of points last year. There, a lot of run yards on the ground. I just think UC Davis's firepower behind Caden Pinnock will get the job done.
Finally, our game of the week, 15th ranked Sacramento State heading to South Dakota to take on 3rd ranked South Dakota State. Will Brennan Marion start his career as a head coach 1-0?
I think it's a close game. I hope it comes down to the end. I'd probably pick South Dakota State being home with 29 straight wins. I think the key for Sac State here is to learn from UIW. They had a lot of transfers, not as many as Sacramento State, but they had a lot, and they did not gel as a unit last week. I think that's the lesson here for the Hornets to, come out early, establish themselves, rely on each other, and really set the tone, take it away from South Dakota State, which has just been a really physical team that gets the job done week after week. So, yeah, I just think Sac State needs to learn from what they saw in Incarnate Word last week.
Well, Craig, thank you so much for your insight. I really appreciate it, and enjoy week 1 of college football.
You too, Megan. I hope the Big Sky has a banner season.
It's another top 25 matchup for a Big Sky school this weekend. Will the Hornets leave Brookings with a W? We'll see on Saturday. Thanks so much for joining me for another episode of This Week in Big Sky Football. Once again, I'm Megan Robinson, and I'll see you all next week.